Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We're still working on Romeo and Juliet. Today we get to hear from Juliet in Act 4, Scene 1. So quick little catch up. She got married to a guy who killed her cousin and then decided that she still wanted to sleep with him. He's the only one that can give her comfort, even though she's only known him for like 24 hours. So they had sex in her bedroom. He snuck out. As she was watching him leave, she was like, wow, it almost looks like you're in your grave, because that's how you like to see your brand new spouse. He has been banished. He has left to go to Mantua because he's not allowed to be in Verona anymore. And meanwhile, her dad is proceeding with the plan for her to marry the County Paris and says that today's Monday, she has to marry Paris on Thursday because Wednesday would be way too soon since she's still in mourning for her cousin. So when she told her dad that she didn't want to do that, he sort of flew off the handle and was at least verbally, if not verbally and physically abusive towards Juliet and the nurse and her mother. So her mother also then just sort of disowned her. Her dad is fine if she dies in the streets penniless, unless she marries Paris. Her mother also disowned her. And then the nurse, who was her last hope for consolation, said, you know, it's probably best since Romeo's gone that you just go ahead and marry Paris so that you're not left starved and destitute and that sort of thing. And Juliet's like, really? That's your advice? And she's like, yeah, I think that's the only solution here. Which honestly, I think the nurse said to try to protect Juliet, not out of any malice towards Romeo or anything like that. She doesn't want Juliet to be out on the street starving. So Juliet is like, thank you for your advice. Would you please tell my parents that I'm going to confession and I'm going to ask forgiveness from Friar Lawrence because I've so offended my father. And the nurse is like, oh, that's great. And she leaves, and Juliet lets the audience know that she's not taking suicide off the table if Friar Lawrence doesn't have some helpful things to say. And that was the end of Act 3. So now in Act 4, I mean, this play started out as a rom-com, right? And now we're on suicide watch for both Juliet and Romeo. Anyway, top of Act 4, Scene 1, Paris, the County Paris, has gone to visit Friar Lawrence, and they are talking about how the friar is going to have to perform the marriage ceremony between Paris and Juliet on Thursday. And Friar Lawrence also isn't feeling super comfortable with this because he already married Juliet, and as a representative of the church, he can't perform a second wedding for this woman until something happens with the first marriage, which he also can't talk about or anything like that. So he's trying to skirt around it as best he can, which isn't very successful. And then Juliet comes in and Paris starts flirting with her, and he's like, I'm going to make you a bread on Thursday, and I know that you love me, and all this sort of stuff. And there's different ways to play Paris. If you want to make Paris be totally gross, you can make it be totally gross. Or if you want to play him as not so gross, you could play him as a guy who's just really excited to marry the woman that he loves on Thursday. Either way, Juliet is trying really hard in her conversation with him, first of all, to not lose it, because her emotional level is here at this point. But also she doesn't want to say like she's excited about getting married on Thursday, but she also has to be polite and all of this sort of thing. And so that's walking that line. And she's like, you know, Friar, are you available for confession right now? And he's like, yes, I am. You know, Paris was just leaving. So Paris finally leaves the scene, and Friar Lawrence turns to Juliet. He's like, you don't even have to tell me what the problem is. I already know. I've heard that you have to get married on Thursday. And Juliet says, tell me not, Friar, that thou hearest of this, unless thou tell me how I may prevent it. If in thy wisdom thou canst give no help, do thou but call my resolution wise, and with his knife I'll help it presently. God joined my heart and Romeo's, thou our hands, and ere this hand by thee to Romeo is sealed, shall be the label to another deed, or my true heart with treacherous revolt turn to another, this shall slay them both. Therefore, out of thy long expedient time, give me some present counsel, or behold, twixt my extremes and me, this bloody knife shall play the umpire, arbitrating that which the commission of thy years and art could to no issue of true honor bring. Be not so long to speak, I long to die. If what thou speakst, speak not of remedy. So she's not feeling great right now. she's basically saying, Friar, shut up unless you have something helpful to say. And if you don't have anything helpful to say, I'm going to stab myself in the heart with this knife right now, because there's no way I'm marrying that guy Paris. So please tell me something, and tell me something quickly that is helpful, because you're the last person that I have left. You're smart. You're a priest. You should be able to figure a way out of this for me, because the only way that I can figure out how to get out of this is by killing myself. So what's your plan? And he's like, whoa, 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 hold on, hold on, hold on, put the knife down. I have a plan. If you are so desperate that you would kill yourself, I have an idea that's a little unconventional. Maybe you'd be willing to hear it. And then her response is tomorrow's monologue, so we'll stop there for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.